This video is on how to use significant figures for multiplying and dividing. We will not worry about adding and subtracting right now. Let's just do adding and multiplying and dividing, which is actually the easiest. Okay, you want to have a calculator handy, okay, so that you can do the math first. After we get the answer from the calculator, then we can figure out what to do with significant figures. Always do the math first. You get part of your credit right there anyway. Okay, so the first question is 25.7 times 6.33. Okay, I already have the answers figured out so we can use time more efficiently. You can pause the video at any time so that you can go as slow as you need to, or not pause if needed. Okay, 162.7581 is what the calculator says. Okay, all right, so that's just the math answer if nobody knew anything about significant figures. Okay, now if you follow your significant figure rules, okay, we saw that 25.7 has no zeros. Okay, and that means all the digits are significant because there's no zeros to worry about. 1, 2, 3, there's 3 significant figures there. Okay, again, 6.333, no zeros, so all the digits count. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 significant figures there. Okay, then we ask ourselves, which is smaller, the 3 or the 4? Well, obviously the 3 is smaller, and so we will keep 3 significant figures in our answer, or sig figs for short. Okay, all right, so let's consider how we'll finally answer it. Okay, we want to keep 3 digits. Start at the beginning, which is the most in front. Okay, we'll copy the 1, that's the first. We'll copy the second one, that's the 6th. Okay, now the 3rd digit, that's the last one I get to keep. So I'm going to use the 7 to tell me how to round the 2. Does the 2 stay where it's at, or does it go up to 3? Well, 7 is bigger than 5, so the 2 becomes a 3. And there's your answer. 163 is the answer to this with significant figures. Done. Okay, let's try another one. Okay, let's do 238 times 3.07. Okay, feel free to pause to get your answer. The calculator says 77.5244. Okay, now that's the answer as if we did nothing with significant figures. Okay, now let's count our significant figures. Okay, 238, again, there's no zeros, so that's easy. There's 3 of them. 3 digits there, all of them are significant. Okay, now notice this 0 is in the middle. And from the trapped zeros rule, the zeros that are trapped in between non-zero digits, they count. So it counts 1, 2, 3. There's 3 significant figures there. Well, how handy. We're going to keep 3 significant figures because both of the numbers have 3 significant figures. So we're going to keep 3 when we're done. Okay, the first 7, there's our first digit. The 7 is the second digit. Okay, now the 5, that's in the position of the last one we get to keep. So look at the 2. The 2 kind of bosses us around and tells us what to do with the 5. Now 2 is smaller than 5. So that means the 5 stays a 5, and there you go. I know there are rules that people with research do, that if 5 is followed by an even number, or 5 is followed by an odd number, okay, who cares? Let's just do it this way. You'll learn that other rule when the time comes, and you'll be ready for it, because you'll be good at chemistry by then anyway. Okay, so there's our answer, 77.5. Okay, I have another example on this paper. Let me move it up. Okay, so we have 0.099 times 741.60. Okay, all right, the answer to that, 0.099 times 741.60, the calculator tells us 73.418 84. Okay, just let the calculator tell you if you're not sure why that happened, don't worry. Okay, again, let's identify how many significant figures we've got. Okay, so now zeros in front. Okay, there is special rule, leading zeros. Okay, leading zeros which are in front are not significant. Okay, so any zeros that are written in front do not count. They're not significant. So these zeros do not count. You can put X's or you can just count how many are significant. The 9 and the 9 do count. That's 2 significant figures. Okay, look at the second number. It has a 0 at the end. Okay, zeros following a non-zero digit and a written decimal point. You have to be able to see it. If you can't see it, it's not there, period. So anyway, zeros following a non-zero digit and a decimal point are significant. So that 0 is significant. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This number has 5 significant figures. Okay, so again, we ask ourselves which is smaller, and we'll keep the smaller of the two. So we have 2 or 5. Well, 2 is smaller, so we'll keep 2 significant figures. All right. Let's see what we'll get for our answer. Okay, the 7 is the first digit. And notice I only get to keep 2, so the 4 will tell us whether I keep the 3 at being a 3 or round it up. And 4 is smaller than 5, so 3 stays a 3. And there you go. The answer is 73. Now in our real chemistry work, we'll be seeing units on our answers. We're just practicing with just ordinary, just plain math, practicing significant figures. So don't let it bother you that I'm not using any units right now. Okay, 207.40. What answer would that give if we divide by 0.9050? Now I won't have a heart attack if you don't write this 0, but it is a good habit because we are trying to learn the rules, and it's a placeholder. It makes the 9 worth 9/10 instead of 9. So that 0 has a job whether you write it or not. Okay, so this is 229, okay, 0.17127, and really a whole bunch of other junk, and I'm not even going to bother writing it all because we're not going to use that many digits in our answer. Okay, so I got the calculator's answer. Okay, now we're going to count significant figures. Okay, remember trapped zeros always count. So 1, 2, 3, and zeros at the end count if they follow a significant figure and a decimal point. So that 0 does count. It follows both a significant figure and a decimal point. So this has 5 significant figures. Okay, now leading zeros, they never count. So no, but here's a decimal point. Okay, you already know the 9 is significant because it's easy, and the 5 is significant, it's easy. And the trapped zeros do count also, and this 0 follows a non-zero digit, and it follows a decimal point, both. So therefore, it is significant. If I had 50, that 0 would not be significant. It'd be important, because 5, if you loan me $50 and I'm practicing significant figures and I only give you 5 back, you'd be very upset. So the 0 is important. It is a placeholder to let you know that is 50 and not 5. Anyway, there's 4 significant figures here. All right, which is smaller, 5 or 4? Well, we're going to keep 4 significant figures because 4 is smaller than 5 when we counted. Okay, so I'm going to have 4 significant figures in my answer. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. You can even make blanks if it'll help you focus. We start with the beginning at the 2. There's 1, 2. Okay, we're going to copy the 3rd digit. Okay, now the last digit that I get to look at is the 1. It's followed by a 7. So the 7 makes the 1, round up to 2. So 229, copy the decimal point, 0.2. And there's our final answer. Okay? There's our final answer. Okay, last question, and you can go online to find more examples. I don't like how all the examples are done, so I made my own video, but there's lots more examples on YouTube if you tell it how to calculate multiplying and dividing with significant figures. Okay, 0.0295 divided by 13.700. The calculator tells us 0.00215,328. Okay, now let's count our significant figures. So again, we have our calculator's answer first, always. Okay, now count your significant figures. Excuse me. Zeros in front never count, so I'm not going to count them, but non-zero digits always count. So there are 3 significant figures here. Okay, let's look at this one. Okay, the 1, 3, and 7 you know already count because they're easy. And then ending zeros, okay, the zeros at the end must follow a non-zero digit and a written decimal point. Here's my written decimal point, and yep, it's following at least one non-zero digit. So they count. They are observable measured numbers. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 significant figures there. Okay, again, which is smaller? The smaller is the 3, so that means we'll keep 3 significant figures. Okay, 1, 2, 3. You can make blanks if it'll help you focus. Okay, now you have to have the decimal point. Okay, and actually you have to have the leading zeros that the calculator had. So I jumped the gun putting the decimal point so close, but that's okay, I'll make it work. 0.00. Okay, now I'm going to put the 3 spaces for my answer. Okay, so the 2, the 1 is the second number. Now the 5, that's in the third position. Okay, go to the next number. Here it's a 3. Since the 5 is followed by a 3, in our class we just leave it right at 5. We're not going to worry about research rules with 5s. And there you have it. So the final answer is 0.00215. And notice again, I copied the leading zeros and the decimal point because without them, the 2 would not be worth the proper amount. Okay? All right. Contact your teacher if you need more help. I hope you find this video helpful. How to calculate multiplying and dividing with significant figures.